Hello, fellow captains, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are continuing our trip in the California Dreams bush trip from Catalina to the Sea Ranch, way up to the north. We are flying in the Cessna 208 Caravan. We are on leg number 3, and it is estimated to take about 16 minutes. Today we are flying from Barstow, Daggett to Baker. We're going to get an overall look at the route here with the bush trip summary map. And then we'll hop into the plane, get our GPS and instruments and everything set up, get into the air, and start learning about different waypoints along the way. Now, yesterday, I think it's about to happen again. For the most part, this usually loads. Oh, here we go. Okay, it usually loads by the time I get to the actual end of my little intro there, but sometimes it takes a little while. Don't need the camera settings there. We'll move that out of the way. Let's hop over to our GPS, look at the flight plan. And, oh, is this one actually set up to... Wow, okay. That's actually surprising to me, because in the last couple of flights... am I not able to... Yeah, I think oh, I don't know. I'm just double checking. Is it actually... It looks like... Oh, wow, okay. Well, okay, no, not really. I do. Okay, well, let's do direct to there. Sorry, I know you're not understanding what's going on. In the previous flight, it had the GPS set to waypoint 2, or the first waypoint in leg 2 every time you took off, and I had to go in and scroll it all the way down to the next waypoint. But it seems like it's pretty close. Even if I only have to do this like once, one waypoint forward, that would be nice, compared to what we had to deal with before. All right, so that's all set up. Let's see, let's get our altitude set. I want to be up at around 3,500 feet, I think. Get our vertical speed set to 1,200 feet per minute. And then nav mode set. We'll get our CDI set to the GPS. So we have nav mode, vertical speed, flight director. Yeah, I think we're all set. So let's get ourselves up into the air. Get flying. Alright, I'm just trying to focus. Oh, there we go. Overcorrected. Start pulling back, get ourselves into the air. A little bit of pitch trim so I don't have to hold it. And away we go. Alright, let's get the autopilot turned on. Excellent. All right. So the format for these is we'll fly over to a waypoint. I will read off the information for that waypoint, and then we'll continue moving on. But for the time in between, I typically just try to find things to talk about as we're flying along and enjoying the view. Oh. Okay, there we go. I keep forgetting what my keybinds are all set up for, but we'll figure it out. Let's zoom our map out just a little bit so we can actually see where we're going. USR 11. So we'll get over there. I'll read off that waypoint for you. And we'll just kind of enjoy the view. I like these. I said in the last episode, I really like these circular farm things. I don't like them from an efficiency standpoint as far as, like, obviously square farms look better, and I feel like they would be a better use of the land. But obviously, for irrigation purposes, it makes sense to do the circles because, you know, you can have an automated water. Number one, they're more efficient with power and water and all of that stuff. And two, you can automate it in a way that doesn't just flush everything out. So obviously the rotating irrigation systems are clearly better for everything that most people are concerned about. It just, you obviously have the corners of that patch of land that aren't really doing anything as far as production goes. I have to imagine that the metrics work out better doing it that way, though, because people wouldn't be doing it if you made significantly less money not cultivating that part of the land. So, yeah. And a nice clean desert area up here. I think we're going to be in the desert for quite a little bit because if you looked at the map when we were loading into the game, it stays on the other side of the mountain range for quite a little while before we head back down and towards the coast again. So what does it say? About 2 minutes before we reach it? I think it said we had a relatively short flight, like 15, 16 minutes. Yeah, 17 minutes total flight time. So that's by the time we got into the air, that's when the clock kind of starts for that. Ideally, we can cut some of that down by staying at full throttle the whole way. It automatically refuels us every time we land, so I'm not overly concerned about fuel economy or anything like that. It's not like it costs us any money. I have to say though, I kind of wish that Microsoft Flight Simulator would come out with career modes for their simulators. You know, something along the lines of either you work for an airline, like an airline career mode where you work for an airline, or maybe, you know, like the American Truck Simulator one that I do, where you own and operate your own aircraft company. Maybe you fly your plane for hire. I guess the second option wouldn't really make much sense if you want to be the one flying. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. The American Truck Simulator works that way. You drive your own truck and then you hire other people to drive your other trucks. So, you know, you could start an aircraft charter company where, you know, you're flying your plane around and you have employees. I think that would be a little bit much. I think that would be a little bit much for Flight Simulator. I'm just saying it would be interesting. It would add some interest to the game, a little bit more interest to the game if we had a little bit more mechanics to make it to where you could feel like you're progressing in some manner, other than just watching your flight hours increase on your thing there. Just looking around at my screen here. Wait, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's on my monitor. I gotta clean my monitor at some point. Anyways, we are currently after lifting off into the desert. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, not sure what just happened. Something is not working correctly. Are we locking back onto our course here, or... After lifting off into the desert sky, fly east over Troy Lake, which is occasionally inundated by water after heavy rains, but is typically dry. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure what just happened there, but let's we'll go ahead and hop out into the camera view because I got distracted. So Troy Lake doesn't really look like much, does it? Anyways. Moving around. I think it might be lining us back up. I'm not sure what I pressed that made that happen because it completely messed with my GPS control. But it seems like we're back on course, and hopefully that won't happen again. I forgot what oh yeah, I was just saying it would be interesting if we could have some kind of new mechanic in the game that allowed us to have a feeling of real progression rather than just watching your oh, because I didn't actually change my altitude. Let's change it up to 5,500. And then vertical speed to 1,200. There we go. Right, I keep trying to say, it would be nice to have some kind of sense of progression that isn't just watching your pilot logbook increase and getting the, you know... I know achievements are nice and everything, but it's nice to have something that you can just have what feels like a tangible reward for having, you know, done a lot of flying. So I don't know. I'm sure people will disagree. They're like, it's a flight simulator. We're just getting in here to fly. I don't want to have a job. It's like, well, yeah, but you could do free flight, like they're doing here. I'm just saying, adding a career mode for somebody like me would make the game more interesting to me because it would give me a reason other than just hopping on and flying around for a little bit and then being done. I get bored when I don't have any kind of sense of progression. It's just the way my brain works. We have about, what, 5 minutes? Ugh. I'm at the point, oh, yep, and again, I forgot to adjust my taskbar so that it would increase the size of the video again, so hopefully that's a little better for you. I'm trying to remember all of these things, but I have 4 different games that I do every day, and by the time I get to this one, my brain is just so fried at that point. Climbing up to 5,500. So we can stay over these mountains, not crash, and get to our next waypoint. I'm actually going to read it. I'm going to try to remember to read it as we're getting close to it, so we don't have to hop out of the cockpit. Like, if I can pop up like this and just tell you what we're coming up to, it's just that last time I pressed a button and it completely made my plane go way off to the side like that. So I'm not sure what happened there. It was very weird and confusing. But ideally, once we hit about the 5-mile mark, I'll try to make that like the standard procedure. Once we hit the 5-mile mark towards a waypoint, I'll read it off so that we can have a nice view of it. I'll pop up and give us the best possible vantage point for it, and we'll keep moving on. The problem with this series especially is that unlike my trucking series and my my Elite Dangerous series, the changing terrain, the stuff that we see doesn't change fast enough to keep most people's interest, and I think that might be the thing that is causing the viewership to not hang around as long as they do for some of the other videos, and that kind of sucks. The only way I can think of to address that is to do time lapses, but that would require me to do video editing, and I don't want to. I don't want to do video editing. I'm very much not a fan of that. So try to give you guys some interesting views as we drive. A nice, beautiful landscape over here. But realistically, I know most people just don't have the patience to sit here and watch the terrain go by. And, you know, I try to keep it as interesting as I can by having a dialogue going on as we fly, but you know, you can only be so interesting when the flights are like this. It's only a 16-minute flight, though, so hopefully, I mean, how many different waypoints do we have to get through? We have this one here, this one here. Why are we not letting me? Okay. There we go. I don't know why the scroll wheel wasn't working. So we have this one we're coming up to next, and then we have one more after that, and then it looks like only a few miles after that we'll be landing at an airstrip over there, Baker Airport. So we are 5 miles out. Mojave National Preserve. Continue east over the low Katy Mountains to the desert wonderland protected by the Mojave National Preserve, which protects the Kelso Dunes and a number of jagged mountain ranges. So here we are. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been out here for real. I don't think that I've gone out to the dunes over here. I have to. I did do ATVs up in Oregon, though. When I was serving as a Marine musician, we did a recruiting tour up in the area where the dunes are up in Oregon, and one of the supporters out there let us ride their ATVs for free. They had an ATV business or something, and they just said, "Hey, take these out, have fun." I'm like, that's really awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. But yeah, got to get to the next waypoint, turn off to the left, and then after that, we'll be able to land this bird and be done for the day. The problem is that by the time I get to this video, I don't really have too much else to talk about because I've already talked for about 30 minutes for my Elite Dangerous video and then another 20 to 30 minutes for my trucking video, and by then I don't really have much else to talk about, so I end up just, you know, narrating what's going on, and that's not exactly the most fun thing in the world. Ideally, I should really just be coming up with a list of topics that I can talk about before I sit down to record for the day. That would help. I think that would help. It would give me a list of things to just kind of talk about as we're flying so that it doesn't turn into me just rambling on about stuff. But the only problem is like what am I gonna use as a determining factor about for, you know, what are we gonna talk about? I don't want to talk about news because everything in the news today is just so politically charged that I don't want to divide my audience by, you know, imposing my opinion on these things on you guys. This is a gaming channel, not a political channel or a cultural channel or whatever you want to call it. And you guys came here to enjoy some video game content. But unfortunately, I don't know. Other than that kind of stuff, what else is there to talk about? There's not really too much. I mean, I was thinking right before I started recording that I think that YouTube in general is really trying to push content creators towards that short form content because of the success of platforms like TikTok. And while I think that is probably a smart business move overall, I'm also kind of sort of getting the feeling that a lot of users are kind of tired of little 30-second videos, because now I have to go find 15, 20 different videos to, if I have an hour of time to just sit around and hang out, I'm not really looking for short form videos. I really want something that's going to eat up some time, because I'm bored and I want something to do. So I know me personally, I've never been, if I see that a video is less than, say, 5 minutes, I'm automatically disinclined to watch it, because that's not gonna, that's like what, 5 minutes, and now I have to go find something else to watch. So I think, obviously the younger generations are probably more interested in that than our generation is. I'm a latter end of, I'm technically a millennial, but I'm at the very beginning of millennial. Oh my God, the like has popped back into my vocabulary again. I'm really trying to get rid of that. I hate hearing people say like a lot, and here I am doing it again. Let me reset my brain and try to represent that in a way that does not have the word like in it. I believe that the later millennials and on probably are a little more inclined towards that short format content because of the internet generation that we grew up in. I grew up just as the internet was becoming a thing, so I remember a time when there was no such thing as the internet, and there was no streaming content or any of that stuff. I grew up in the era of cassette tapes. Cassette tapes were still a major thing by the time I was becoming an older teenager. So my perspective on all of that stuff is a little bit different from, say, people who were born 5 or 10 years later and on, because they really had more of the internet as part of their lives earlier in their lives than I did. That said, I've spent my entire adult life on the internet doing various things, World of Warcraft, and I became pretty obsessive about all that kind of stuff. So I definitely understand where they're coming from, but at this later, I don't want to say I'm in the later stages of my life, but I'm definitely, I feel like I'm probably in the second half of it at this point. And my perspective on YouTube videos is a little bit different than, say, a 20-year-old's perspective on it. So I know that was a long, roundabout way of saying that I think YouTube needs to pay a little bit more attention to the fact that it does have more than one kind of audience. It's not just these young kids who are, obsessive about not having to spend a long time watching a video. They want that quick fix of, oh, I get the payoff in 30 seconds. Me personally, I'm not interested in that kind of content. I really want to have something that's going to keep my attention for a little while. Here we are at we're here at Soda Lake with the Kelso Dunes clearly sighted, turn into a northeast heading, flying over a broad desert plain called, I need to read these before we turn because it gives us a lot of information as we're going this way. We've already passed all of this. Broad desert plain called a Bahada to Soda Lake, a large white dry lake bed that lies at the terminus of the Mojave River. The tiny community of Zizix, built around a natural spring, lies on the western periphery of the lake bed. So I was reading these as we reached a waypoint, but I was thinking, well, by the time we get there, we've already forgotten what we read. But then there's a lot of stuff that they say that's on the way. So I don't know. All right, so we should be getting near to the airport here pretty soon. It's going to be up there to our left, so I'm actually going to turn off the autopilot, pull back on that throttle, and then did I not turn it? I said turn it off, please. Thank you. And then our airport should be over there to the left at some distance. We'll start descending and getting ourselves ready to land. So it's up here kind of in front of us. For some reason I can't see it yet. We definitely need to start descending. Yeah, the only problem with playing in 1080p is that I don't get the kind of resolution that's going to allow me to clearly make out some of this stuff. So it says the airport is just out ahead of us. Is that? I don't see a road. I'm not really sure. And the image that we have over here clearly shows it as being a very visible airport. There's a road. Is it over here somewhere? All right, I'm gonna kind of turn to the left here and do like a zigzag pattern because I don't see it. And I'm mostly just trying to scrub altitude at this point and slow our forward progress until I can spot the airport. I still don't see it. It says that the runway is supposed to be more or less aligned with our trajectory, but okay, so we'll go off this way and then hopefully I'll see it as we're coming down. Because okay, I think maybe I see it. There's like a little patch of asphalt over there that could be what we're looking for. Right over here, I think this is it. It's hard to tell because I don't have the resolution to be able to get a clearer picture, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's get our single notch flaps down first. Yeah, yeah, I can see the. Why does the beacon wait until now for me to be able to see it? If it had shown up a long time ago, I would have had a much easier time of making it out. I wonder if that's a graphical setting that I need to change. But anyways, here's the airport, so we just need to get down on the ground, and then we can be done for this video. Excuse me. I have been at idle throttle this entire time, so make sure we don't hit these power lines. I have to say, the glide ratio for these high-wing aircraft is always very good. Add a little bit of power so we don't hit the power lines here. Get that second notch of flaps in. Probably should have left it. Alright, well, not a great landing, but it'll work. Alright, well, hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to more viewers. If we can grow this series and keep it going, that would be really awesome, but that really depends on you guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your video feed and you will be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Channel members do get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click that join button, check out the list of options that are available at the different tiers, and decide if any of those are right for you. Again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys had lots of fun, and I'll see you for the next one.